Hey guys, I'm glad you're here. Today's project is this well-used echo blower. And the problem is that it doesn't always start. And if it does start, it'll run for about a minute, and then it will die and it won't start again. Let's see if we can find the problem and fix it. It's always nice to know the history of some of the stuff we're working on, and luckily I have some to share with you. This echo blower was used commercially for many years. It worked okay until one day it just finally stopped working. It's more than likely a carburetor problem, or worse, it could be an engine issue. Let's pull on the rope slowly and see if we can feel some engine compression. Well, it's definitely got compression, so I wonder if it lost its spark. I'm going to be using this inexpensive inline checker, or you can check by removing the spark plug, reconnecting the plug wire to it, and touching the spark plug to the aluminum head and then pulling it over. And luckily for us, we do have spark, so let's remove the checker and the air filter and put some gas into the carb throat and then try starting it. Well, it didn't start for us, so let's get a real reading on what the engine compression actually is. I'm going to remove the spark plug and then install the compression tester into the head. Then I'll pull on the rope several times with the throttle squeezed so we can see how much air pressure it can actually build up in the engine. Well, that's not very good news at all. The pressure inside the engine is right on the edge of working and not working. And that's why sometimes it starts and sometimes it doesn't start. It's just whatever it feels like. Usually at this point, we have to decide if it's worth fixing, because if we had about 10 more PSI, it would still be quite usable. I'm going to try an experiment. Say you're on the job and you need this blower to start and run right now. Well, let's basically try to get that extra 10 psi of pressure to get it running, and then keep it running at wide open throttle until the job is done. I'm going to use Marvel Mystery Oil, but I'm sure motor oil or 2-cycle oil will even work. I'm going to remove the spark plug and put about several drops into the spark plug hole, and then replace the spark plug. Next, I'll put some gas into the carburetor again like we did before, and then try pulling it over and see if we can get it running very briefly. I do apologize for moving the blower out of frame. The blower needs to be pointing straight down, and the blower tube is pretty much in the way. Well, luckily it started and ran for just a bit. So why don't we put some mixed gas into the tank and try starting it once again. With the extremely low engine compression, more than likely the carburetor will need major adjustments to compensate for the reduced airflow. The carburetor adjustments I will be making are far from what is normal, so please disregard how many turns I make on the adjustment screws. Instead, listen for the sounds the engine is making and which way I turn the screws to adjust it. Well, the blower works, but it is very low on power, as to be expected. So what should we do with this thing? Should we save it or use it for parts? Well, unfortunately, the cost of rebuilding this thing is so high that more than likely a new blower is a better buy. But more than likely, I'll probably rebuild this blower in a future video, just not anytime soon. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please feel free to ask any questions, and I hope to see you again in the next video.